Writing your artist story, a cross-training exercise. The writing you're embarking upon serves as a fodder for artist statements and bios and any comment you're ever going to have to make on your work. But more importantly, it's the writing from which you'll glean the fascinating parts of your development as an artist in order to weave the story you can tell when someone asks you about your work. Why should you care about being able to speak at a moment's notice about yourself? Because articulating your story is inextricably meshed with feeling good about yourself and the artwork you produce. It's another aspect of strength training. You may already have written an artist statement or a bio or even a resume. Many artists who show work publicly have these documents on hand. But if you're new to this experience, no worries. Writing is the perfect place to start. Just go forward from here. And even if the documents already exist, you really should do this exercise anyway. It stirs realizations about your life and motivations you didn't get before writing a simple artist statement. For the record, the typical artist statement varies based on the artwork and the exhibition or venue requirement. A statement about one piece may not be appropriate for other works in progress. A bio, once it's set, is older information, and it's formulaic and answers three questions. What is your experience? Where have you shown your work? What other highlights are related to your artistic path? Not only does the bio answer those questions, it addresses them in under 250 words. Please. Getting started. There are three parts to this writing assignment. Eventually, the three parts will be distilled to 3 paragraphs. But don't worry about that right now because you're getting ahead of yourself. And please don't edit as you go. Stream of consciousness is good. Work from the subject heading and the questions asked. Write each part separately from the other 2. Get it all down on paper, and then we can edit after the rough draft is completed. Most people appreciate a map. It helps to know where we're headed, so here's the map. After you've written about history, process, and content, I will show you where to look for the thread that binds it all together succinctly. I am 100% sure it's there, but you can't discover it without writing any more than you can imagine the special effects in a movie without actually seeing them. Part 1, History. Who are you? What physical path has your life taken? Let's get the quantifiable stuff down on paper. Your family, schooling, physical addresses, siblings. What did you like to do as a kid? How did you spend your time as a teenager? What jobs did you have? Where did you go to school? What did you study? Did you ever get married? Do you have children? You might think it's not relevant, but I beg to disagree. Just write it down. From birth to where you are right now. Process number 2. After you've written about your history, no matter how long it takes, write about process. How do you work and what do you love to do? This is the alignment aspect of the writing assignment. You've already done this work as part of Chapter 7. No need to edit, just write down how you work, what processes you use, what techniques, what do you find yourself doing consistently, as it relates to your art practice, that is. Content. What do you care about? This is your passion. I also talked about it in Chapter 7, and you might have to go back and listen to that again. Maybe it's color, maybe it's war. There's sure a lot in between, but it's all fine. Just write it down. Check it out. If you're parsimonious with words and get to the point quickly, that's terrific. But it might be that this writing takes time. Don't worry about what's next. I'll provide directions on how to distill writing in Chapter 9, and then you can edit what you've been writing. But right now, just have some fun. Get to know your fabulous, fascinating self, because I'm going to prove to you, you are distinctive. Artists respond. Jeanette Davis wrote, "The paragraph in the instruction that spoke to the early humility lessons so many of us receive was spot on. Thank you for talking about that. It's really tough for me when I think about old tapes. It hits at the very foundation of the early socialization that shaped my inner critic, the one that opened the door to building and populating the committee. Restarting the journaling and writing process right now was a deepening experience for me. I did a lot of journaling when I raised my kids and struggled with a bad marriage. It was helpful then, and it is now, but in a different way, since now I'm looking back at who I was, and I'm also eager to find a way forward. I often felt tearful when writing this assignment. My heart was so full of emotion, looking back with genuine love and tenderness at early events. The understanding that comes from life experience and passages of time provided the kind of depth I didn't have then. I am so thankful for new insights and understanding about my personal history. Artist statement material or not, it certainly provided recognition of all the grist that I would like to look at in my own story." Conclusion. An artist wrote to me about the difficulty of dealing with bad stuff and including that. Another said she'd mainly experienced bad stuff. When she looked at her writing, she decided on her own to go at it from a positive angle. If anything, reading what you've written illuminates whether you are seeing your life in either a positive or a negative light. Perhaps this is an opportunity to revisit those events and catch a better balance. When my father died, I was out of kilter. The last years of his life before he was institutionalized and dementia thrust silence upon him were very hard for all of us in the family. Bad things happened. I was carrying a big fat lump of anger around. After the funeral, good memories gradually resurfaced. Being angry and frightened by the last years of my father's life subsided. I remembered many good things about his personality, his strong, capable hands, and his larger-than-life laugh, how much he loved my mother, his commitment to justice and great enthusiasm for cooking on a campfire. Healing means reconciling. It's the forgiving that returns internal peace. Both good and bad events shape our lives. You're not required to write the hard stuff. You get to choose what you want to tell. But referencing the fact that life isn't perfect, that there have been challenges in your own life, is a gift to others. It's an acknowledgement that we are all part of a human family that is both fragile and resilient, vulnerable and stalwart. When you engage your artist self and bravely tell your stories, it's a gift.